I feel like a job.
All right, good morning, everybody. It's April 18th, DRC, 9 a.m. If I don't mind, I'd like to make a motion to move, item 2 to the beginning, Starbucks coffee. Good morning, everybody.
Whoa.
Get your volume on your Zoom.
If I don't mind, I'd like to make a motion to move,
I'll make the motion.
Sorry.
and I apologize, I'm not sure.
You'll have multiple
That's it.
motions, but.
Turn your volume down on that one.
You have to leave it on YouTube, that one.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There. All right, there we go. I'd like to make a motion to move Starbucks to the, first item on the agenda list, because they're, on Zoom and they're waiting
I
on us.
don't think you can make a motion, but I'll make the motion.
Oh.
I'll second it.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, there we go. All right, we're gonna move that to number 1 there.
Parliamentary rules out.
All right. And, apologize. Is anybody from Starbucks on the Zoom call?
You have to include them somehow.
Unless you mute them.
Participants, thank you.
Don't know how valuable Colton is till he's gone.
Yes, that's exactly,
So we're not-
okay, so we are the only participant right now. Okay.
Move them back down?
Well, you know, honestly, planning doesn't have, as far as on comments on it. Let me go ahead and bring it up if you don't mind. Starbucks, what they're doing is basically, they're doing an interior remodel and a light exterior remodel of it. We don't have any comments at all.
Staff's good with it?
Yes.
No driveway changes or anything?
Just all they're doing, actually, so this is what they're doing. They're removing some parking spaces and then adding, let me zoom in here for you. They're actually adding, kind of increasing their parking area, or their drive-through area right here. So they removed the parking spaces here and just,
They're doing kind of what Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
yeah, just
But they're not adding any stormwater issues, and I'll make a motion to approve.
all in favor?
Aye.
All right, that passed. All right, let's go to item number 2 on the agenda, which is gonna be the Bryant School District, high school building addition.
Yes.
Apologize.
Pull it up. This is a classroom addition on the south side of kind of the main classroom building. It's about 24,000 square foot footprint. There's sections of it that's 4 stories, 3 stories, and then on the very far south end, there's a safe room that's 1 story. Safe rooms are required for all new school construction these days. And kind of rerouting some of the parking lot and reworking some of the other areas. There's also 3 buildings that are going to be demolished. One that's right next to the addition, kind of on the southwest corner, and then there's 2 other on the north side of the campus that are going to be demolished.
Let me get to it real quick, I'll show you. So,
But yeah, you want to update your Google, or wait, no, that's your GIS right there.
yep, that's our GIS,
Okay.
so,
Yeah, so that building right there is going to be demolished, and then if you go on the north side, those 2 buildings, well, yeah, there, and then the one to the right.
right there.
And I know you mentioned there's going to be some additional comments. I got some kind of, I guess,
Some brief ones,
these got a bullet point, but I'm going to get more information on that.
yes, correct.
We've had more questions than really comments.
Okay.
I mean, if you wanna, I know you're you've got quite a few of them, so.
Yeah, I mean, I could summarize it up into, you know, the detention counts are, you know, they're covered pretty well. There's an overall balance on the, you know, the outgoing flows. But could really use, at least on the drainage plan, maybe some flow numbers, like where the flow's coming out of the other parking lot, the new parking lot.
Mhm.
So how much we are discharging out of it, in comparison to the old system
Okay.
that you're dumping into that. Plus the analysis downstream of there, do we have any kind of modeling or numbers on the capacity of those storm drains
That's
downstream?
one of our big concerns, because when that downstream basin was built, whatever claim we wanna put it on, that one house started to flood, and then it flows into that other basin, which goes across Boone.
Well, technically, in the drainage calc, that we should have, in addition to the detention pond calc, is all your hydraulic profiles, all your new enclosed system, calcs for your pipes, inlets, all of that, what you're capturing, intercepting, all of that.
Okay. Yeah, we can provide that, and I think currently, there's not any detention for this area that flows south right now, so we're kind of adding some detention, so maybe we can fix some problems that are occurring over there, and then we're also kind of rerouting some of the water. It's gonna improve the detention pond over on Boswell, because we're taking a little bit of the water that's going there and shifting it over here, because of that, the wing is cutting off
Yeah.
some of the storm water that's being collected around the front of the school and going, west.
I was able to follow the rationale that.
It's kind of, a little bit different, it's a little bit different,
But
because normally it all goes to one spot, and you're
Mhm.
detained all in one spot. This one's kind of being rerouted a little bit.
right, so we got, a reduction in discharge on this area, but then the new parking lot areas discharged more.
Right.
So the question is how, what inlets are gonna capture that, and do we have a capacity downstream to handle that?
Okay.
So,
You're increasing the capacity by moving it somewhere else,
Mm-hmm.
but then you're taking the capacity by putting different new projects.
Right, and
that's all ended up in the same system.
Because we're really not adding much hard surface per se on this site, but we are redirecting quite a bit of water going south that was going west.
Yeah. And
So we've got some room where we can do some stuff in this project, to make issues that were going on before this project, so.
yeah, I think if you had maybe like a before and after where all the flows are going,
Okay.
just
I
to,
can do that.
it doesn't have to be part of the construction
Sure.
plan, it could just be
Yeah.
part of your calcs, that says, hey, this is what's happening now.
Yeah, it's
This
a
is what
little
we plan to-
confusing, but
yeah.
just because of what's going on, and there's just a lot of storm
Right.
drainage in there that's getting rerouted.
I'm gonna make it work. The drain for that water tank runs through that drainage system.
And so how often does that overflow, or
Well, not, but it runs all the way down to can you scroll it down?
is it like underground, or?
Yes.
I mean, I figured that area
It drains
in the drainage
down here.
area.
Go over it. It comes out.
It comes out right here. So,
I gotta,
as you have it designed now, it will come out in the new basin when I have to empty it.
Just when you have to empty it.
yeah,
Yeah.
we don't really,
Which wouldn't happen during a big storm event.
no, just.
God, hope
just
not.
consideration.
That's a million gallons of
When
water.
construction happens, just know that that's
Okay.
dumped into that drainage system.
Okay, and they'll have to reroute all this stuff before they, start doing the dirt work and
Yeah,
everything.
that's like saying that there will never be a fire
Right.
when the Razorbacks are playing and it's break time and everybody.
Does the city have an easement to drain it up?
Yeah, it's underground.
Just ask.
Josh, the other question was, the basin is non-traditional, which we don't have a problem, but it did not address the overflow of the basin in the event that it does overflow. There's nothing to control which side it overflows to. It could overflow to the grass, it could overflow to the road. There was no aspect to control the overflow of it, if it ever occurred.
Yeah, I think that's one overall drawing showing where they intended.
Yeah, the side of this is surrounded by a concrete sidewalk and curb and gutter, so it's gonna overflow on the low spot and spill over into a hard surface parking lot. But it's a little bit different than your traditional,
Yeah, most definitely.
detention pond. You have like an overflow.
And that would we'd have definitely, if it overflows into the parking lot and down the road, that's definitely some downstream issues that'll have to be addressed, in that area. The other thing that I saw that I don't know if you looked at was the angle, the trickle channel, the angle is too sharp for the water to make the turn. It'll blast the water right into the
Well-
side of the basin.
But the trickle channel is really for the really low flow.
Yeah, it's really low flow
Like
conditions.
really light rain, sprinkles, and just to be able to get the pond to dry out.
You could put a little bit of a turn radius.
Yeah,
on
we could
that.
definitely do
Yeah,
that.
we definitely need a little bit of an arc. We've seen some of the other ones, and like I said, even at a medium flow, that water shoots right off the edge of that, right into the side of the basin.
Yeah, and those bends like that tend to create, a little bit of turbulence
Yeah, it could,
in the eddies, and then you end up collecting sediment and stuff like that right in that turn. Or maybe get a little bit of a radius in there, I think.
yeah, I could maybe turn that other pipe a little bit and make it more of a straight shot.
Actually, the easiest thing would be just to arc the trickle channel. Water
just like-
flows in arcs, and so
Okay.
it's, I mean, if you arc it, you can get it in there without too much erosion, turbulence. Like you said, when it goes to make that 90, it just starts twirling around.
When you get the comments, there's gonna be some water line comments about the fire, supply, the AC line, things like that.
Okay.
They should be.
Other than that, I think when you see them, it's gonna kind of all fit in with what I'm saying. I started digging into inlet capacities and stuff like that, and it's really just about,
And this is, again, this is a school parking lot, it's not a city street, so you're not
Right,
gonna have the capacities that you would on a state highway, for instance. A lot of this stuff drains through corners that we try to collect, a lot of times it jumps over the, parking lot design's a little bit different than street design.
yes, I agree.
Well, we actually allow parking lot design to detain some of the water, don't we?
Can,
Yeah.
yeah,
As part of your plan.
you can.
It's hard to do unless you got a really flat lot, and then you're gonna have bird baths everywhere, and it works for really small, really small
Oh,
sites, but not for something larger.
I've used it to add capacity to a pond, or if I need a little bit more, I grab a little bit out of it.
So on the plans, it shows that you guys are tapping into the existing sprinkler system.
Yes.
So I think you've exceeded your capacity, on the square footage
Okay.
for one system.
And that's not kind of outside of my area, but I can definitely, I'll forward those comments to the architect, and,
There may be an exception.
I know that we've done large building additions before, and there's something about having, you can't have multiple fire department connections or multiple systems on the same building, but again, I'm not that familiar with the codes, and they'd be able to address those better.
So you can just explain to them, what I'm looking at is this section 8.2.
Okay, is that gonna be on the comments?
I'll give that,
Here we go.
yeah, it's on the comments as well.
Okay,
But, like I said, there may be an exception that I haven't seen, so if there is, just put that in a note somewhere, that way
Okay.
we'll have that, code reference.
all right.
All right?
You mentioned that multiple FDCs on a single building.
Yeah.
This is actually considered a completely separate building. They have to do that because of the square footage. They were actually exceeding their square footage, so that way they're actually structurally independent. They're basically taking two buildings and smashing them. That's the reason why.
Okay,
So, yeah, the maximum, I think, 27,000 square feet, or, 72,000 square feet, and they're exceeding that with the other building combined, so.
and if we did, I think we're coming in with our domestic and everything in the safe room. We would probably set an FDC somewhere around that, see that
Right.
door right here?
Yep.
Yeah, it'd be somewhere around there, and so that would be a good spot, even with the coverage with the hydrant we're adding, so. I'll talk to the MEP guys about that.
What about a landscape plan?
Well, landscape plan, I know that the school has been working with the city, and they've been kind of revamping some of their landscape at the high school. I think kind of replacing River Rock with some of the areas the plants had died. I believe Terry said he was gonna get with you all about what you're gonna require landscaping wise on this,
Okay,
because they've been doing some different stuff at the high school, I think, in conjunction with the city.
yep, okay. Asbestos, What about for the tearing down the buildings? Do you know?
I can get reports for that. All school districts are required to have asbestos
Yep.
reports and inspections, every couple of years or so. So any of these buildings that has it, it'll have to be abated
Yeah,
prior to
and then
demolition.
sprayed and,
But I
well,
can get those reports.
okay. All right. Mechanical, well, this is actually, you're doing more site plan, but just so you know, mechanical equipment, all mechanical equipment will have to be screened.
And I know there's quite a bit
There's
over
quite
there
a bit.
on the east side, and yeah,
Yep.
I'll make sure it's screened.
Okay. Any other comments?
Is he trying, are you gonna bring, or is he coming back, are you coming back?
Yeah, I'll come back within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bring it back in 2 weeks,
Make a
so.
motion to table, or?
Yeah, I'll make that motion, I mean, he keep coming back till he gets it right.
That's right.
Well, it's the initial, so, yeah.
I knew I wasn't gonna get it right the first time.
So,
Okay. All right.
motion to table? Second. All in favor? All right, thank you. All right, the next item on the agenda is the villages at Magnolia Lane. Jonathan, I think that's you. Yeah,
So, item number one, so subdivision fee. So there was I think about a $48,000 fee that was part of the project to the south, the villages at Magnolia. When that came through, the construction project, part of the approval at planning commission of that was the developer agreeing to pay for a basin study for this area. I think it was a citywide, but a portion of that was gonna be paid by the developer developing, the acreage to the south. After that, that same developer bought this project to the north and now owns both. He hasn't paid the $48,000 on the storm fees for the villages, and I believe that's what Tim is referencing on subdivision fees.
Yeah, there's a memorandum of understanding that we paid up front for the drainage study and they would reimburse us. It was 48,000 and change, and we've been trying for 2 years to collect it. So I called Jonathan, yesterday or the day before. I said, comment number one's gonna be right.
Yeah. And I have certainly relayed that message, and I mean, I think their intention is obviously to pay it last minute before they start construction, so, but yes, they're very aware, and I texted them again this morning.
Yeah, construction, at least according to the MOU, cannot start on any of the other phases until the city has reimbursed that money.
I'm with you.
I
Me and you are on the same
know,
page.
I know.
The other comments looks like, let's see, it is 2 and 3 are easy, behind lot 15, that's there's a little swale that they just decided, not to put in the lots in the original plat. On final plat of phase 1, I think it's track B, so we'll just need to add another track. That split in the phases, so we'll add track C or D or whatever's next, on that portion.
in there, right there, okay.
Yes, sir. The next comment, ADA ramps to be installed, agreed. Bike lane, that was switched on the master street plan to go south between lots 83 and 78. If I'm not noting that, I'll make sure I get.
Well, no, that's one of my questions, so that's what, and I'll be honest with you, I'm filling in, so.
Yes, sir.
That's why I was questioning, because the bike lane actually shows it going all the way down here. It looks like on the, well, and I wasn't sure if that's, which one would be better for the city.
Well, I think that already went to city council and they moved it, if I remember right.
Okay,
And
Didn't
I
we
think
take that through planning and
Yeah, I remember
Okay. I wasn't sure, okay.
changed it on the master street plan back?
Go through there, okay.
But I'm glad you caught it, because
Well,
I know we had talked about it before
okay.
in office and it hadn't been done. Okay, and then the last comment. Okay, so that is gonna happen,
Is it right here?
yeah, it's actually right
Okay.
there, really close to that. It's, actually, I say that, it might be a little closer to here. We're tying into, there's a 12-inch this side, if I remember right. and
Okay.
we gotta tie into that water.
Turn to utilities.
Well,
You got, get rid of your search bar there.
Yep, yeah.
so our access and our water connections. And that was planned to be gated, I believe,
Yeah.
just emergency access.
Can you go down to the water on his plans too? Do you remember why we took those crazy angles with the water?
Sorry. A minute,
I
no,
don't remember either, but when you look at it, I'm sure it was for a reason, I just.
No. One more.
There you go.
Right there. Yep.
Over and back.
I think it was because we didn't have enough room between these lots. It might have been because of the easement was gonna cause too
Oh,
wide
okay, I see
here.
what you're saying, yeah. And then just.
Yeah,
That's
right.
Okay.
I think that's what it was. It was
I
gonna
didn't know if
kill a lot,
Had to do with
probably.
that little subdivision or what, or substation or whatever that is in the woods, but,
I'll
okay.
get that label changed. And I'll put a, Google overview backdrop on that too, so we can kind of see exactly where that is on one of those sheets.
So, do we have like an agreement with the Greens then to allow?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got that, and I think that's been shared previously. I'll find it, but I'll resend that, and, so you guys have that.
I know there's a dumpster here, and then also maybe make this, to be honest with you, some type of fire lane or something right there, we're gonna have to put there, because I think that dumpster, I went by there, and I think they like to put their dumpster outside the dumpster
Oh, wow.
area,
Okay.
which would block the fire lane.
So if you zoom out just a little bit here, so what happened was, in order to get that easement, this section was deeded to Lindsay, so there was a swap easement for, and access for this 12 acres, so this is now owned by Lindsay.
Okay.
But I'll get that
Just kinda, yeah.
I'll get all those documents transferred over to you.
And my only thing is,
Stormwater.
Hmm.
And then the
basins is
stormwater.
before, if they're within 100 feet, they gotta be dry.
Right, and I think that was updated on that last plan.
Yeah.
The 100-foot requirement, if I'm not mistaken, is on retention ponds.
Yeah, that's what I said, is it?
Yeah, not detention
Yeah,
ponds.
if they're good, well, they had put them in as wet, but I see detention up there now.
Yeah, it says detention, and they have trickle channels in their designs. I'll tell you, Jonathan, my biggest comments were all on stormwater. I mean, I did have, like on lot widths and stuff like that, that didn't meet the minimum criteria for area and
Right.
width in the front. And you'll get a copy of all that, right? So you'll be able to see that. My big is on the calculations, for the stormwater. You know, and I'm just coming in, trying to get folks to really change how they put together the drainage calcs. Drainage calculations should always include everything, not just the pond.
Yeah.
So we're talking all the enclosed systems, the ditches. We should have hydraulic profiles on all of the enclosed systems, so we can see where there's gonna be surcharges in a 100-year storm. Right? And then downstream analysis, do we have, like, for instance, the South Pond discharges kind of into no man's land. I know it's headed to the creek,
Right.
right? But how does it get there? What happens when there's a 100-year flood event? And we have a 100-year flood event on the creek. And so those scenarios should be mapped out in the calculations and also in exhibits. So, you can always double up on your basin maps, which there were no basin maps submitted with that, and just include, like I was saying earlier, directions of flow, how much, I think enclosed systems are 25-year storm requirements, but we still have to analyze a 100-year storm event.
Yeah.
For the whole system.
Right.
So we can identify problem areas. Right.
Okay, we'll get you more.
Yeah, now your ponds and the calcs has been the last 2 or 3 submittals. Your guys are not going in and contouring out all of they're not using user-defined ponds, they're just putting in trapezoidal shapes.
Okay.
No can do,
Okay.
right? It has to be actually what's there in the design.
Right.
I couldn't follow those, and I think you had a couple of, there were a couple of slopes and, number of barrels, things like that, didn't match, the calcs didn't match the plans.
Mhm.
So you'll see those in my comments. You know, so your inlet capacities, your street to handle flows, all of that should be in the calcs.
Okay.
Not,
Come on.
so,
Not that I have one other question too. Lot 42 here, if you can see it, up lot 42. What's the distance right here? Because I know it's, you know, your minimum is 60-foot lots, but I know the back's kind of small right there. This is
Right.
kind of, 42 is a really small lot. I'm not sure, kind of,
Yeah, I can check on that one.
okay.
I think I've listed out in my submit, like all the lots that are below the 7,500 square foot threshold. I think. For sure did.
So, okay.
Didn't, you know, the sidewalk, there was some comments that I had on your typical sections, just labeling mostly, identifying what's what, you know, making sure they match the city standard.
Any other?
Coming back.
Hmm? What you say?
Have to, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Coming back,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll come back.
Yeah.
most of the day. Any fire? We good?
Now they got the access road.
Just don't put a dumpster in front of it.
Well, that was another one, it's the 20-foot emergency access. We have a road that consumes the whole thing, and there's no room for drainage.
Our hydrant's good. He's
I don't know if it needs to get bigger or if the road needs to get smaller.
Hey, they're learning.
Appreciate you.
All right, motion second. All in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. All right.
Don't say so, I'm trying to skip that one.
Well, looks like it's everything.
Motion to adjourn.
My motion is adjourned.
Second.
Oh, wow.
All right. Nice.